Every reaction, every pause, every micro-expression tells the truth about a person, if you know how to read it. In this video, you'll learn 9 powerful ways to decode human behavior using insights from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. From spotting insecurity to detecting manipulation, from reading emotional shifts to understanding reactions to your success, these guides reveal the truth hidden behind every action. Watch closely, and by the end, you'll see people and their intentions more clearly than ever before. Number 1. What people defend reveals their insecurities. When a person becomes defensive over something that wasn't even under attack, they reveal the cracks in their identity. Insecurity always wears armor, even when there's no battle. Seneca wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." This is the essence of insecurity, suffering from imagined threats. People who are secure don't rush to prove themselves right. They let truth defend them. For example, if someone constantly says, "I'm not jealous, I'm not controlling, or I'm not fake," chances are they're struggling with exactly that. The louder the denial, the deeper the wound. When you observe defensiveness, don't challenge it. Decode it. It's a mirror into what a person fears about themselves. The calm individual doesn't need to prove innocence. The insecure one needs to announce it repeatedly. A Stoic never reacts to defense. They study it, because insecurity always exposes the story people try hardest to hide.
The Stoics thought that any flash of anger or defensiveness is not a proof of strength but a silent confession. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "If someone is wrong, teach them kindly and show them their mistake. But if you can't, blame yourself or no one." This knowledge tells us to see when individuals are defensive not as an attack, but as a chance to learn what makes them tick. When someone feels the need to defend themselves without being accused, they are really defending their self-image, not their truth. The ego's barrier is defensiveness. It happens when a person's inner world feels like it is at danger from the outside world. The more frail their sense of self, the more powerful their protection mechanisms become. This is why people who are calm and sure of themselves can take criticism or disagreement without becoming upset. Their sense of self is not based on getting approval. People who always have to prove themselves are like broken glass. Merely a hint of doubt can break them. Epictetus said, "When someone bothers you, make sure that it is your own opinion that bothers you." So when people get defensive, it's because your presence or your truth touched a notion they aren't ready to deal with. Something you said might have touched on their unhealed pain, their buried guilt, or their secret jealousy. They're not standing up for the truth. They're standing up for their own false sense of self. Look for patterns. If someone gets defensive about loyalty a lot, they might have betrayed someone in the past. If they continuously have to show how real or honest they are, it could be because they have been hiding behind masks. What people protect the most shows what they are fighting inside. And the key to understanding how people act is to not disagree with what they say, but to read between the lines. So a Stoic doesn't get upset when someone becomes defensive. He just watches. He sees the reaction as a signal, not a task. Defensiveness is like smoke. It doesn't put out the fire, but it does show where the fire is. The Stoic wants to understand others, not to hurt them, but to stay calm when things are tough. You may witness this in many places in modern life, like at work and in relationships. A manager who reacts strongly to criticism probably worries that they aren't good at their job. If your partner always accuses you of lying, they may be hiding their own lies. A companion who requires continual reassurance may be secretly feeling useless. You won't be surprised by how people react after you learn how to read these indications. The key to mastering this guide is to let go. You cease taking things personally when you see defensiveness as insecurity instead than aggressiveness. You know that people don't react to you. They react to the agony they feel inside. And this knowledge offers you strength, the strength to stay cool, collected, and unshaken, just like the Stoics did. Marcus Aurelius stated, "Choose not to be hurt and you won't feel hurt. You don't allow defensiveness hurt you anymore once you understand it. You just recognize it for what it is, a sign of someone else's fear, not your own failure. And that's the first step in figuring out why people do what they do, seeing past what they say and how they say it to uncover the silent confession underlying every defensive action.
Number 2. Silence exposes more than words. In conversation, silence is not empty. It's the most revealing space between words. People often mistake silence for weakness, but silence is where truth leaks out. Marcus Aurelius believed in the strength of calm observation. He wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul." When someone goes silent in a heated moment, it shows where their inner power lies. Watch carefully. Does a person's silence come with calm composure or anxious discomfort? If they grow restless, shift in their seat, or fill the space with nervous laughter, it often signals guilt or uncertainty. But when someone is still and composed, it shows self-control and clarity. Silence is the ultimate truth detector. It removes distraction and performance. The Stoics often used it as a weapon, not to intimidate, but to let the noise of others reveal their inner chaos. The next time you want to understand someone, stop talking, watch, listen. Silence exposes what speech conceals.
Silence is the place when masks come off. The truth that people try so hard to hide comes out when words stop. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we talk." He knew that silence isn't just being quiet. It's looking into things. It lets you see more than just how language works, more than just the words individuals use to create an image. People can't hide behind charm, wit, or cunning when there is quiet. Their eyes, posture, and breathing start to express the message that their mouths can't. Most people don't like silence, since it makes them face themselves. Insecurity sets in as soon as the conversation stops. They laugh uneasily, fidget, and look for something to do to fill the hole, anything to keep from feeling noticed. But the guy who can keep calm and quiet gives off an air of authority. Stillness is powerful, because it shows who is in charge of the room's mood. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." The person who can remain in silence without being bothered, rushed, or disturbed is free. They don't have to prove anything, respond, or take control. Some people are scared of this independence because it changes who is in charge. They can't guess how you'll react or change how you feel. That's why quiet makes insecure people squirm. They need noise to cover how unstable they are. Silence is more strategic than words in social situations. A Stoic employs it not for punishment, but for perception. People who talk too much often give away their plans, feelings, and even their lies. But if you stay quiet, you give them the chance to show who they really are. The more you let someone talk, the more you learn the truth. It's a test of patience, and sensible people know that patience is their defense. Marcus Aurelius really understood this. His thoughts on restraint weren't about being indifferent. They were about being in charge. "You always have the choice of not having an opinion," he remarked. This taught him how to manage his impulses and how to stay quiet even when he was provoked. Because reacting is weak, being quiet is strong. You can see this in daily life. In disagreements, the one who rushes to fill the silence is usually the one trying to justify themselves. The person who waits, watches, and stays still is the one in charge. Silence makes the emotional aggressor uneasy and gives the spectator power, whether it's a business deal, a fight in a relationship, or a fight. Not talking is not the same as being silent. It's not going back. It's listening with all your senses, such noting small changes in tone, micro-expressions, and emotional patterns. It means figuring out the reality about people that is hidden behind words. People can deceive with their words, but not very often with their silence. Epictetus told his students that the first step to control is to control yourself. When you can stop yourself from filling quiet with noise, you start to control yourself. Once you control yourself, you can start to understand other people. So if you want to know who someone truly is, stop talking. Let the silence last. Let the silence make them feel uneasy. That's when their true nature comes out. If you find someone who can handle your silence without getting tense or scared, you've found someone who has conquered their emotions. This is an uncommon quality in a world full of noise. Silence not only shows others who you are, but it also teaches you how to hold back. You go from being a reactor to an observer, and from being a participant to a strategist. In the end, quiet is the best way to talk to someone. It tells the truth without changing it. It's not that there's no sound, it's that there's understanding.
Number 3. The micro-reactions tell the real story. The face betrays emotion before the mind can censor it. Psychologists call them micro-expressions, those fleeting facial reactions that last less than a second. To the Stoics, these weren't just body signals, they were emotional confessions. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The word react is key. Reactions are instinctive, not rehearsed. That's why they hold truth. When someone congratulates you, but their lips tighten for a split second, that's envy. When they say, I'm fine, but exhale sharply, that's suppressed irritation. When they laugh, yet their eyes stay tense, that's insincerity. Marcus Aurelius spent his life observing human reactions as part of his self-discipline. He learned that understanding others required watching how they move, not just how they speak. People can fake behavior for minutes, but not for milliseconds. Those flashes of authenticity are the windows into their real emotional state. The key is to remain calm and detached as you watch. The Stoic doesn't judge. He observes, records, and understands. The Stoics thought that how people acted showed what was going on inside them. Every movement, look, and breath had a message. They knew that the truth is not often found in words. It is found in how people react. Before a person even thinks about what to say, their body speaks. Epictetus thought that how we behave shows us where our control starts and ends. He was teaching more than how to be emotionally strong when he said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He was also showing a way to understand human nature. A Stoic examines responses as a philosopher analyzes logic, not for judgment, but for comprehension. If you look attentively, you'll notice that every person has two layers, the performance and the impulse. They want the world to see the performance, yet the impulse comes out in a split second. These little changes in the face, including tightening of the lips, narrowing of the eyes, and small flaring of the nostrils, are like emotional fingerprints. They show up before reason can hide them. Seneca frequently articulated the significance of observing others without malevolence. He said, anger is a short madness. That craziness shows on the face before a word is even spoken. The Stoics understood that reality is bare in those fleeting instants. Someone who is jealous might grin, but you can sense it in the small strain around their mouth. Someone who is trying to hide their remorse could glance aside a little too soon. When someone lies, they could blink quickly after saying something fake, as if their body is trying to erase what their mind just made up. To decode micro-reactions, you first need to remain calm and detached. If your own feelings are loud, you can't read other people. The Stoics did this by being still and watching, without making any comments to themselves. Your perception gets sharper when you detach. You start to notice things that other people don't, such a silence that lasts too long, a breath that is too heavy, or a blink that is too quick. These little things show how a person feels in their head. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world full with power, lies, and ambition. He had to read people perfectly as emperor. He paid attention to more than just what his advisors said. He also paid attention to how they acted, including when they showed fear, arrogance, or resentment that showed their true objectives. He said, if you look closely, you can see the soul in a man's face. That understanding is still relevant today. You can't always believe what someone says, but you can always believe their body when it betrays them. This exercise also pertains to your own self-awareness. The Stoics weren't just interested in other people. They also wanted to learn how to control themselves. Pay attention to how you react when someone challenges, criticizes, or ignores you. Do your eyes get hard? Does your jaw get tight? These movements aren't random. They're signs of feelings you haven't learned how to control yet. The wise utilize observation to fix their own mistakes before condemning others. Learning to read micro-reactions changes how you understand people in everyday life. When someone appears to care about you, when they feel intimidated, or when they secretly admire you, you'll know. You'll know when someone is lying before they say anything. But keep in mind that this knowledge isn't meant to be used against you. It's meant to be clear. The Stoic watches to stay true to the truth, not to take advantage of it. And as you keep going down this path, recall what Epictetus said. There are 4 kinds of appearances to the mind. Things are what they are. How we see them is up to us. You need to use reason, not suspicion, to figure out how to understand these reactions. Look for patterns,
But don't jump to conclusions about bad intentions when there might just be insecurity. You reach the level of true emotional intelligence when you learn to notice things that most people miss, such the flicker in their eyes, the quiver in their voice, and the moment before they grin. It's not about knowing what people are thinking. It's about knowing how they react. That modest observation has a lot of force. You start being fooled by what people say when you learn to read their micro-reactions. Instead, you start to comprehend what they really mean. Number 4. Emotional shifts reveal attachment and control. People's emotions are a map to what controls them. When someone loses composure, when they explode in anger or collapse in despair, they expose the depth of their attachment. Seneca warned, "He who is angry at the things which he cannot control suffers twice, once from the event and again from his anger about it." When you observe someone's emotional shift from calm to chaos, from kind to cruel, you're witnessing their dependency. Their control is external, not internal. For instance, someone who becomes irritable the moment they're ignored shows they're addicted to attention. A person who loses all logic when criticized shows they rely on approval. Emotional volatility always reveals hidden need. The Stoics believed that mastery of emotion is mastery of life. The one who stays calm, even when provoked, has already won the deeper battle, the battle over himself. When decoding others, focus less on what triggers them and more on how they respond. That single observation will tell you whether they rule their emotions or their emotions rule them. The Stoics thought that being emotionally stable meant being able to control your emotions, not suppressing them. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have control over your mind, not the things that happen outside of it. If you understand this, you will discover strength." When someone becomes angry over small problems, it's not the issue that controls them. It's their strong desire for things to go their way. Their minds are held captive by fear, want, or expectation. Epictetus said that individuals are not upset by events themselves, but by the judgments they make about them. You may observe these judgments in action when you watch how people's emotions change. For instance, a coworker who freaks out when a project doesn't go as planned may seem professional on the outside, but on the inside, they are controlled and need validation. A buddy who becomes angry about a favor that was forgotten may not realize that they are still holding on to entitlement and anger. You may also guess how someone will act if you know how their emotions change. People who are controlled by outside events will go back and forth between happiness and sadness based on what happens around them. But those who are free inside stay solid. Their balance is based on reason, not on what happens. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom. Freedom is the ability to be still when the world moves around you. Also, being able to recognize attachment through emotion helps you plan your relationships better. You can tell who wants power, who wants approval, and who is driven by fear. For example, someone who becomes defensive when they are criticized shows that they are not arrogant, but that they need other people to tell them they are doing a good job. When someone sulks or becomes passive-aggressive when they are neglected, it shows that they need attention to feel good. Seneca's saying, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials," fits here. Emotional turmoil reveals character. By watching it non-judgmentally, one attains clarity. You can tell who is really in charge of themselves and who is being controlled by fear, desire, or ego. Figuring out how your emotions change also helps you learn how to respond. When you see someone else lose their temper, you have a choice. You may either react emotionally or stay cool and attentive. The Stoics taught themselves to always select the second option. When you watch without getting too attached, you stay calm and learn about the hidden dependencies that affect behavior. In real life, pay attention to more than just the big changes. For example, a smile that gets tighter, a tone that is harsher, or a pause that makes you feel uncomfortable. These small changes typically show the emotional buttons that a person presses without even realizing it. The more in tune you are, the more you can predict how people will react, understand their reasons, and respond in a way that keeps you calm. In the end, it's all about how you look at emotional changes. You notice that when people are chaotic, it's usually because they are attached to things they can't control. You can break free from being controlled, provoked, or surprised by figuring out these patterns. The Stoic stays calm and observes human nature, putting self-control first and understanding others second. When you pay close attention to changes in your emotions, you start to see the difference between power that comes from self-control and power that comes from need. And that difference is what will help you get through relationships, discussions, and social situations with clarity and confidence.
Number 5. How they treat the powerless shows who they are. The greatest revelation of character doesn't happen in power struggles and how one treats those beneath them. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to treat servants, soldiers, and citizens with fairness. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power includes the restraint to treat others with respect, even when you could dominate them. A man's humility toward the powerless is the truest mark of his virtue. Watch how someone treats waiters, cleaners, or those who cannot offer status or advantage. That's not behavior. That's revelation. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Those who withhold kindness from the powerless are ruled by ego. Those who give it freely are ruled by character. People reveal their morality not in grand gestures, but in quiet moments when no one's watching.
This is one of the most important things to remember about how people act. True character shows when it costs them something, not when it helps them. When someone is nice to the powerful but rude to the weak, it shows that they care more about their own ego, prestige, and self-interest than anything else. People who are truly virtuous treat everyone fairly, no matter what they can get out of it. Epictetus stressed that being honest is more important than how you look. He said, "What happens to you doesn't matter. How you react to it does." When someone is impatient, makes fun of, or looks down on someone who is weak, it shows how they usually act in their own life. On the other hand, someone who shows kindness, patience, and respect without expecting anything in return shows moral strength and self-control. Pay attention to the little things that happen every day. When a boss yells at a janitor but smiles at executives, they are showing their arrogance. When a friend flatters you and rejects a waiter's request, they are being opportunistic. These actions are not out of the ordinary. They are consistent with who they are. Marcus Aurelius always told himself to do the right thing, even when no one was watching. Stop arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The Stoic way is not about getting acclaim from others, but about being in line with yourself. You can tell if someone is telling the truth by how they treat people who can't help them. This guide is powerful because it helps you understand without arguing. You don't have to ask someone directly. Just watch. Their genuine values and priorities are expressed in small behaviors, like being polite, patient, and respectful. You can figure out what someone really wants by figuring out what they do. Is their motivation ego, fear, or profit? Or do they follow morality, empathy, and self-control? This is the kind of knowledge that helps you decide who to trust, who to follow, and who to stay away from. In real life, pay attention to how people handle those who are weak when they are in charge but not in danger, such at a restaurant or when they are on the phone with customer service. The answers are almost never performative. They come from gut. That instinct, unrefined by anticipation or incentive, reveals the authentic self. The Stoics remind us that moral truth is found in what we do, not what we say. You can tell if someone is real or just acting by how they treat others who have no authority. You learn to handle relationships with clarity after that. You choose to be with people who are honest and avoid people whose virtue is conditional. This guide isn't only about criticizing other people, it's also about improving your own behavior. When you treat those who are weak with justice and respect, even when it doesn't cost you anything, you make your own moral character stronger. And that is what makes a true Stoic. Someone who does the right thing because it is right, not because it helps them or makes them look good.
Number 6. Patterns don't lie. Words can lie, apologies can manipulate, but behavior patterns tell the truth every single time. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what you give your attention to." Over time, repeated behaviors crystallize into identity. A person who constantly seeks sympathy becomes a victim. Someone who lies habitually becomes deception itself. Patterns are history, repeating itself in different disguises. The same excuses, the same betrayals, the same anger. Those aren't coincidences. They are a person's unhealed nature showing itself over and over. The Stoics believed that repetition builds both virtue and vice. Seneca wrote, "We become brave by doing brave acts." The same is true for cowardice. Repeated avoidance makes one fragile. To decode human behavior, zoom out. Don't focus on isolated moments. Study patterns over time. People may change their tone, but not their tendencies. Consistency is the fingerprint of the soul.
Patterns are the best way to figure out what kind of person someone is. One isolated act can be deceiving, like a bad decision or a moment of weakness. But when conduct happens over and over, it shows how a person's mind works. Epictetus says, "First tell yourself what you want to be and then do what you have to do." You can see what someone really is by looking at how they act. No matter what they say they want to be, think about someone who keeps breaking their word. You could forgive one missed deadline. Two might need to be careful. But when someone doesn't maintain their promises all the time, it shows that they don't care about honesty. Someone who always gets angry or blames others isn't just having a terrible day. They're showing a habit of uncontrolled emotion. Patterns don't mislead since they aren't made to look good. They happen organically over time and show that choices are made consistently. The Stoics also stressed the importance of looking at patterns in order to learn more about yourself. Marcus Aurelius frequently documented his habits to discern persistent vulnerabilities, procrastination, annoyance, or indulgence in pleasure. He could fix his own problems by seeing them. Watching how other people act provides the same purpose. It helps you guess what they will do, how they will react, and how to reply wisely. Patterns also show what is important to you and what you value. Someone who assists others without expecting anything in return is truly compassionate. Self-interest is when someone always puts their own needs ahead of their connections. Words can say one thing, but actions over time show what someone really believes. To understand how others act, you need to be patient. You need to watch how people perform in different situations, such when they're stressed, calm, winning, or losing. That's when the underlying structure becomes clear. The same movements, feelings, and decisions will happen over and over again, creating a behavioral signature that can't be faked forever. This understanding is strong because it keeps you from being fooled by charm or lying. Someone could seem kind in one situation and sorry in another, but patterns show if these are one-time things or real tendencies. The Stoic observer stays detached and notes these repeats clearly without judging them. In the end, knowing patterns means knowing how people act. It's the understanding that people don't do things randomly. They have patterns in how they act. Patterns tell us who we can trust, who can control their desires, and who can't. When you learn to understand behavior as a sequence of patterns, you can use that knowledge to make smart and strategic decisions about your relationships. You don't react right away to words or actions anymore. You know the rhythm of character, the way motives repeat, and the truth that lurks beneath appearances. Consistency is the fingerprint of the soul, subtle, immutable, and unquestionably real. When you recognize these fingerprints, you see individuals for who they really are, and your insight is sharper than anything they could ever say. Number 7. Emotional mirroring uncovers hidden intentions. When someone starts copying your tone, posture, or pace of speech, they may be trying to connect or to control. Mirroring is a natural human instinct. It builds rapport and empathy. But when it's used excessively or strategically, it becomes a tool of manipulation. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Meaning, be wary of those who always seem to think like you, feel like you, or agree with you. Genuine people challenge you when they must. Manipulators pretend to agree until they get what they want. The difference lies in timing. Genuine mirroring feels natural and slow. Manipulative mirroring happens instantly and intensely. If you pay attention, you'll notice that false mirroring feels too perfect. It's as if the person studied you, because they have. Mirroring does more than just copy someone. It shows their motive. People naturally mimic each other without thinking about it. When they do, it's because they feel empathy, comfort, or a connection. But when it's forced, sudden, or overdone, it shows intent. People who manipulate use it to gain your trust, get you to agree with them, or change your mind without you even knowing it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Things themselves can't hurt you. Your thoughts about them can. This is a warning against being persuaded by appearances. Similarly, manipulative mirroring has no real power over you until you let it. Awareness is your armor. You may notice the hidden goals plainly, once you know the difference between real alignment and strategic imitation. Seneca also talked on being able to tell the difference. Be friends with people who will make you a better person. Seeing how people mirror their emotions can help you make good choices. Persons who mirror without a reason are friends. Persons who mirror with accuracy and timing are typically testing, probing, or trying to control. Knowing the distinction helps you keep your mind safe while being clear about your interactions. Look for small signs. Does the mirroring only happen when there is something to gain? Does it get worse when you set limits or say what you think? Real connection mirrors in a natural and random way, whereas manipulation mirrors in a planned and predictable way. Your guideposts are timing, intensity, and context. To understand emotional mirroring, you need to be patient and watch calmly. Don't make a quick decision, but keep an eye on patterns over time. In a first meeting, a manipulative person might act perfectly, but they might slip up when they are challenged. A real person's mirroring happens naturally, without any thought. The Stoics said that knowing how people work can keep you from being tricked. You can learn about someone's motives without having to address them by watching them mirror. You see who seeks honest connection and who seeks advantage, and that knowledge lets you choose how to respond instead of reacting without thinking. This guide is about subtle perception, or being able to tell the difference between what is real and what is made up. For manipulators to work, they need you to trust them. You get that power back when you see the indicators of strategic mirroring. You no longer let others affect you without thinking. Instead, you respond based on reason, not impulse. Emotional mirroring is a part of every part of life, whether it's in commercial deals, social groups, or even casual friendships. You learn how to preserve your emotional space, see what people really want, and improve your own self-control by figuring it out. Stop and look the next time someone precisely copies you. Ask yourself if this is real alignment or planned manipulation. The answer will tell you a lot more than words could.
Number 8. Consistency between words and behavior is rare but revealing. Epictetus warned, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. A person's values mean nothing unless they live them. This principle applies universally. Someone can speak of loyalty, yet vanish in your darkest moments. Someone can advocate honesty, yet twist facts when it serves them. Seneca wrote, behavior is the mirror in which everyone shows their image. The dissonance between words and actions reveals hypocrisy, and hypocrisy is always louder than intention. Observe people who make promises but delay action, those who apologize often yet never change, those who demand honesty but hide truth. That inconsistency is not confusion, it's character exposed. True integrity is silent. It doesn't announce itself. It simply aligns words with actions. And that consistency is rare. But once you find it, trust it, because that's real virtue in motion.
The most important test of character is how well words and actions match up. People can come up with great ideas, give great speeches, or show great principles, but if they don't follow through with their actions, these are just hollow displays. Marcus Aurelius told himself, stop fighting over what a good man should be one. True morality is not just talked about, it is lived. When watching other people, pay more attention to how they act than what they say. Someone could say they are patient, but they might get angry about small things. Someone else might vow to help, but then disappear when it's not easy. These discrepancies between what people say and do are much more telling than any confession or claim. The Stoics thought that acts are the soul's way of speaking, and they don't lie very often. Seneca stressed that self-reflection was essential for mastering virtue. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. When we look at how people act, we can observe that individuals whose words and actions don't match often want perception over substance. They care more about how others regard them as loyal, kind, or moral than about actually being those things. This disagreement shows that their actions are driven by self-interest rather than principle. Look for small signals, such when someone says they're sorry but keeps making the same mistakes. Do they give counsel that they don't follow? Do they hold others responsible but not themselves? These discrepancies are the best signs of hidden priorities and a character that hasn't mended. The more inconsistencies you see, the less reliable the individual is. This is not because of one mistake, but because of a pattern of mistakes. On the other hand, people who always say what they mean and do what they say give off a quiet sense of authority. They don't need to brag or remind you of their values. Their actions show them. Marcus Aurelius saw both leaders and regular people, and saw that those who lived by principle inspired devotion and trust without ever asking for it. Integrity is obvious and hard to find, which is why it is so important. Looking at human behavior through this prism makes you more aware. You start to look past looks, promises, and charm. You learn how to tell the difference between people who are actually reliable and those who act like they are. You don't believe what others say anymore, since actions, when done over and over again, are the only real proof of intent. This guide also tells you to think about your own life. Do your actions match what you say? Are you living up to the values you say you hold dear? The Stoics believed that self-examination was important, not to make people feel bad, but to make sure that their actions matched their principles. Seneca stated, "No man was ever wise by chance. Virtue demands purposeful, repeated effort. When you talk to someone or work with them, or when you hang out with friends, you can avoid being lied to or let down by watching for consistency between what they say and what they do. It helps you tell the difference between sincere allies, faithful friends, and principled partners, and those whose appeal covers inconsistencies. In the end, the best way to show someone's character is to be consistent between what they say and what they do. It is quiet, clear, and impossible to deny. Once you know how to see it, you can see the truth clearly and hypocrisy right away. Believe in the patterns and the acts, and let the stillness of discrepancy speak for itself." Number 9. Reactions to your success reveal true intentions. There's no clearer test of character than how someone responds to your success. Praise and empathy are easy when you're struggling, but when you rise, people's true emotions surface. Seneca observed that he who envies others does not obtain peace of mind. Envy is silent poison. It eats away at one's calm and reveals itself through micro behaviors: a forced smile, a joke that feels sharp, a compliment that sounds hollow. When someone celebrates you sincerely, it shows strength of character. When someone's tone hardens or they retreat from your victories, you've seen the shadow of envy. Marcus Aurelius, though an emperor, reminded himself never to take others' envy personally. He wrote, "People exist for the sake of one another. Teach them or bear with them." In other words, don't resent envy, just recognize it. Success doesn't change your relationships. It exposes their true foundations. Genuine souls rise with you. The rest reveal their discomfort. Pay close attention. Deeds speak louder than words. A friend who makes fun of your advancement may be hiding jealousy behind the joke. If a coworker downplays your success or changes the conversation, it means they are uncomfortable, not uninterested. These answers have nothing to do with you. They are just a sign of their own insecurity, ambition, or lack of ability. Epictetus said, "What happens to you doesn't matter. How you react to it does. Your achievement is a mirror for other people." People's reactions show if they are acting out of kindness, virtue, or jealousy. The Stoics knew that things that happen outside of you, like other people's acceptance or condemnation, should never bother your inner peace. You may negotiate relationships skillfully while being emotionally detached by seeing how people react. Over time, patterns start to show up. Pay attention to who always supports, celebrates, or encourages growth, and who discreetly undermines, compares, or ignores accomplishments. These behaviors that happen over and over show actual intentions much better than words of praise or criticism that happen now and then. Marcus Aurelius told himself to assess individuals not by what they say, but by how they act in different situations. A Stoic stays calm even when they are jealous or disagreeing with someone. You don't fight back or ask for approval. You just watch. A fake compliment or a barely veiled criticism can tell you a lot about the other person, such what they want, what they're afraid of, and what they can't do. Knowing this helps you protect your energy. Pick your friends carefully and avoid being controlled by hidden anger. Seneca said that we should be patient and think carefully before making a decision. People are often more than meets the eye, and we must look closely to understand them. Your achievement is the lens that shows who is real. People who rise with you, exult without hesitation, and offer support are reliable. People who use sarcasm, criticism, or silence to pull away are showing that they have limits, are jealous, or have wounds that haven't healed. This guide gives you the tools you need to understand how people act when they are trying to achieve something. You may learn which connections you can trust and which ones you need to be careful with by studying how people react to your achievement. It teaches you how to tell the difference between real and fake relationships and how to stay away from those who feed on insecurity or jealousy. Lastly, keep in mind that these ideas are tools, not swords. Watching reactions isn't about judging or getting back at someone. It's about being clear, aware, and keeping the Stoic ideal of emotional balance. Success shows the truth about your close friends, the people around you, and the patterns that shape trust, loyalty, and honesty. Your accomplishment makes the truth clear in a quiet, subtle, and undeniable way. People that celebrate, encourage, and help you grow are real. People who are weak, hurt, or jealous of you have showed you who they really are. With each success, the lens of observation sharpens, making human behavior crystal plain. Understanding the patterns that shape people is what decoding human behavior is all about. It's not about managing them. The Stoics didn't study other people to get what they wanted. They learned to respond with knowledge instead of emotion. Marcus Aurelius remarked, "If someone can show me that what I think or do is wrong, I will gladly change, because I want to know the truth." That's what it means to decode human behavior, to perceive the truth plainly without judgment, pride, or illusion. You stop being startled by behavior when you understand it. You don't take betrayal personally anymore, and you don't confuse noise for meaning. You see things as they are, not how you want them to be. The highest Stoic power is perception, or the ability to see individuals not through feelings but through logic. Once you learn it, you may go through life without being fooled, without being naive, and with a strong sense of peaceful understanding. And that's how you can see through anyone, quietly, wisely, and with complete clarity.